少年ジャンプス。
One, two, three, four. We are Shonen Chumps, the only anime podcast on the gosh darn internet that features the three of us. As always, I'm Brennan.
I'm Sean.
I'm Dylan.
And if you didn't know what we do here, we watch fucking anime, dog. And then we hang out and talk about it with you. Anyways, this week, the show that we watched is a very popular show because a lot of you asked for it. And that show is Cells at Work. Now, this is a half-season episode, so we're only talking about the first 7 episodes.
Out of 13.
Yes, right? That's right. So not exactly half, but close enough.
And if you want to know when our final episode comes out, when we talk about the whole season, it's in its entirety, or I guess the second half, you can follow us on Twitter at Shonen Chumps. You can always talk to us by emailing us at shonenchumps@gmail.com. And you can listen to this fucking podcast on SoundCloud or Apple iTunes Podcasts or Google Play, etc. Did I miss anything there?
YouTube.
Oh, shit. Yeah. Damn it. And YouTube. Okay, guys. What did you think about Cells at Work in one sentence? Dylan?
Just a cute, delightful show that should be shown in biology classes across the world. Notice how I got more intense? I was like, just the cute, and then I got really serious.
Just a fun,
you have to watch
romp in
right
the park
now.
that's mandatory across the nation and the world.
That's funny. Brennan?
Okay. This is a lot of fun and very good. But I was kind of expecting more with a question mark. That's my sentence.
Right. My sentence is... Cells at Work reminds me of Osmosis Jones.
Right.
But this show's good. Better than Osmosis Jones. I mean, I haven't seen that in like 13 years.
Yeah.
That's my sentence.
By virtue of being an anime, it's
but
already
it doesn't
better.
have Chris Rock or David Hyde Pierce.
Right.
Shout outs
The
to
TV
them.
show version of that didn't have them either.
I know. I know. I actually was immediately reminded of Osmosis Jones
Right.
As well. But funny enough, I actually haven't seen it. I remember when it was in theaters, I remember wanting to see it.
Right.
But I just didn't get around to it because, life of a, however old I was, 8-year-old.
9,
there were other things
Right.
going
The
on.
Secret Life of the American Teenager.
Yeah. And then when it was on TV, it wasn't Chris Rock, the show, Ozzy and Drix, it wasn't David Hyde Pierce and Chris Rock. So I think even then, as a child, I knew, this is a bastardization.
Holy shit.
Right.
And I will not watch it.
Right.
Nice. I had no idea and none of that integrity. I was like a dumb child and just like, oh, Osmosis Jones.
Yeah, I think
cool.
I watched it all. I don't think I was that big of a fan or anything. I can't
Right.
name the characters. I don't know.
Ozzy and Drix.
Jones.
I know. Yeah,
Done.
Yeah.
Are there any other characters? Who knows? You tell us.
yeah, who the fuck knows?
I definitely thought of Osmosis Jones. I also, while watching this show, flashed back to that one episode of the Magic School Bus
Yep.
where they go inside that child's body and look at his
Arnold?
organs. Arnold, yeah.
They're like,
He's
why
like
is he
the-
yellow? And they
He's
have
like
to
the
figure
worst
it out.
one. Oh, God.
Really?
I don't know. I just remember being
Okay.
annoyed by him.
Because he's the one who
His
says I
cousin is the
shouldn't.
worst.
Yeah, dude. Jesse? I think?
Sure. Yeah,
oh no,
probably.
Janice.
Janice sounds
Janice
right.
is a straight up bitch because everyone likes each other. They're all in the class, and Arnold's like, I should have stayed home today, but it's like that's just
right.
stick. He's like, oh, he never wants to do anything.
Yeah.
But Janice,
That's so
is
sad.
one, not even in the class, if I'm not mistaken,
She's not in the class.
and on multiple occasions, just fucks with the class.
Right.
Where's her teacher?
I think so. I think she does.
Yeah.
I vaguely
Somebody's got to
remember
rein
this.
her in. Anyways, But
Yeah.
I
Back
thought
to
it
cells
was
at
like
work.
very, very funny that someone just like looked at the workings of the human body and went, "There's an anime here."
hmm
Okay, so anime's been going on for a long time. I mean, there have been tons and tons of shows. Have there always been like just oodles of shows every season? Like
I
in like the
believe so.
early 90s where they're like, "Oh, this is like fall and there's like 20 shows coming out?" Because what I'm wondering is it's like you almost have to be that creative and say like there's an anime here because there have been so many animes like
They're running out of
already
ideas.
out.
They're like, "Fuck, what do we do?
Right.
Magical girl, but she
No.
lives in your heart,
Yeah.
literally."
Not necessarily that they're running out of ideas, but like they really have to think outside of the box, which is inside the body.
Nice. Ooh.
Tweet at me.
The
Sean
world.
Chunks. Tell me you liked that.
Yeah, this was good. I definitely thought that the concept was very funny. Also, I like the fact that they went so far as to make the cells people that like bleed
Yeah.
and shit. It's like,
And have
oh,
weapons,
right,
knife.
Like all the cells just look like regular people except for the white blood cell because
Yeah.
he's just a white
Who's
man.
just not colored in at all.
Yeah.
He's completely grayscale. All he sees is red because all he does is kill.
Does
And-
all he see? Is
No,
all he-
not literally.
literally.
Not literally.
Yeah. Okay. I'm like, did they show like his predator vision or something? Like, through his eye? Did I miss that shot? Yeah,
That'd be really funny. I mean, but like, might as well because every time he sees like bacteria, he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna kill you, you fucking bastard!" Like,
man, he must have been great to draw in the manga. Just
Oh,
a white,
yeah.
just white.
Just
you never have
so
to color
just
him in.
give
Yeah.
something. Yeah, the
Yeah,
no
artist
shading.
breaks.
Yeah, pretty much. He looks like L from Death Note to me, or
Yeah,
like
Yeah,
It's-
because he has like
yeah,
dead eyes.
It's the eye. The eye. We only. I mean,
Right.
we assume he has a second
and,
eye.
he's
but
got,
like,
like,
also
the
the
emo
pointiness
fringe.
of like his angles and like his chin and hair and
Yeah,
he's
I
like
see
a
that.
Nero and L like put together. I
It's
don't know.
true. Yeah, their
Who
faces
in L?
are like
Nero, you know the guy who like replaces L essentially
just
when L
Nier?
dies?
Near.
Who's Nero? Oh, maybe
Nero-
I'm mixing
Nero was
Mello,
a Roman emperor.
Mello and Near.
Oh,
right.
Oh, Nero. Fuck, that's from something. I don't know.
Devil May Cry.
Devil May Cry. It's from Devil May Cry. That guy also has white hair. Yeah, he also has white hair.
Shit.
Yeah.
Right.
If you're a fan of Devil May Cry, tweet at me at Shonen Chumps. I've never played them, but I'm down to hear what you have to say.
Interesting. It's funny
Yeah.
that you knew that still without playing it.
Yeah,
And that's
I'm
great.
too ingrained
I mean,
in
that's
it.
great.
It's part of the
Yeah.
Also, what's funny about the anime that I mean, they're just regular people, but when the blood cells are bringing nutrients, they're just carrying boxes of like bread and apples and stuff,
yeah.
I love that.
which
that's what
really
he-
doesn't
like
make
her-
any sense.
Yeah.
It
They're like-
really doesn't.
They're
make any
12-inch
sense.
subs, Dylan.
Yeah.
They're not just bread.
Which
Yeah.
is crazy.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah, I wonder if like
There's not tiny little apples in your body.
did the creator of the show just really like that type of food? They just really
That would
only
be
like
so
apples
fun.
and
It's
like,
like-
subs for dinner
Yeah.
or lunch.
super funny if like the animators were just like they just didn't have like a wide breadth of knowledge of like food to draw. They're like,
Mhm.
I can do sandwiches, and they're like, fuck it, that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, it feels. I mean, I guess we will have to. We might want to dissect the episodes further, but it very much seems, especially at the beginning, that this is aimed at a young audience.
Mhm.
But then it kind of like the reach kind of expands more because episode 7 is dealing with cancer.
right, it gets real
And
dark real
just
fast.
like not asking, like I don't know, when you're like I didn't ask to be born, like that whole thing,
Right.
like I'm defective.
Right.
And and there's just like so much bloodshed. But initially, I was like, oh, it's just like an educational material
Yeah.
that like like little kids would have fun watching it. And I thought that was all done intentionally. Like, it kind of makes sense why the food would just be apples and sandwiches, just kind of
Right,
like easy,
simplified.
simple
Yeah,
things to
yeah.
identify.
Right.
And just like the red blood cell dresses in all red, like, and then like it's interspersed with those kind of like the narrator saying like red blood cells do this,
Mhm.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it really
right.
felt like educational material that was aimed young, and yet it gets quite graphic.
Yeah,
dude,
the
like
white blood
bloody,
cells
yeah.
always drenched in blood.
That's the
Yeah.
thing. See, like I was thinking the same thing originally when they were like, yeah, sort of stopping the show to sort of explain how these things work in your body, and you're like, oh, this is like edutaining.
Mhm.
But then, like the first episode, this guy literally grabs one of these purple monsters and slits its throat, and blood sprays all over him. And it's like, holy fuck, dude, this is violent.
Yeah, it's
and
great
not
that the
for
show
kids.
is blood. I'm
But-
I'm so happy that anime has blood in it
Yes,
compared to like American cartoons.
Yeah.
It's just cool.
This show is like a statement to that. It's like, oh, thank fuck for anime blood.
Mhm.
But also, it's so funny that whenever something dies in this show,
yeah,
it has X's for eyes still, so it's
Right.
like cute and funny at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's like cartoony.
it only just occurred to me that it doesn't make sense for anything in the show to bleed.
Of course, but it also doesn't
Yeah.
make sense for there to be
Or
Because
for them
they
to
are
wear
blood.
jeans.
Well, okay,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, yeah.
and hats. Everyone has a different hat. I like that.
Yeah, wait, speaking of the hats, wait, Dylan, I want to speak to that point that you said about, like, this being educational. This seems like the type of show that, like, when you're done the course load in your grade 11 biology class, your teacher just plays this for the final week before exams. Or, like,
Right.
after exams, I
Yeah,
don't know.
nice.
totally.
It's just like, everybody just shut up, we're going to turn off the lights, turn on the show.
Mhm.
But by the time this gets into the curriculum, it's going to be like 20 years old.
Right,
It's like when
yeah.
they played Bill Nye for us when we were in high school. We're like, all right, I saw this
It's
20
like,
years
They
ago.
played Bill Nye for you in high school?
Well, I mean, if they have like extra tapes lying around,
Oh,
Dude,
okay.
and
when
they're
we
just
got
like,
a supply
yeah.
teacher in high school, they straight up played Harry Potter. Like, they didn't give a
Yeah.
fuck, dudes.
Wait, that's really funny.
One time, I wasn't in this class, but my friends had like they were on this music class, and the music teacher was away, and the teacher put on 27 dresses.
What? That's
That's
such
a weird
Yeah.
choice to show
It's like-
10th graders.
When I was in grade 9 French class, the teacher just got lazy at the end and played us E.T. in French. And to this day, that's the only time I've ever seen E.T.
Yeah, I've only seen Ratatouille in French. That makes sense.
That makes a
because
lot of
for
That's
sense,
a
French
little
class.
bit, yeah.
In gym class, I think I watched The Longest Yard like 3 times in one semester.
What the
Like
fuck?
whenever there were just like nothing going on, our gym teacher
Holy
would show us
shit.
like the same.
Look at these people
Movies.
It's
being
like his
active.
favorite movie.
Yeah,
Man, I just keep playing Superbad over and over. Like, that's dope.
yeah. I guess
Yeah,
it had
dude.
to be like sports.
Right.
I don't
know.
This
It really
relates to
didn't make
physical
any
education.
sense.
Coach Carter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Wait. Oh, yeah. I want to talk about something that you said, Brennan. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The hats all
The
being
hats,
simplified and stuff.
Yeah.
Guys, this is the best cosplay I could ever think of. I want to get a black button-up T-shirt, black like slacks, a black cap, and get like it printed naive at the top.
Oh
and
my
just
god.
go to Anime North or go to Fan Expo.
Do you know how funny that would
That's
be?
so good.
And it's a good hat to have later.
Yeah, naive.
That's cool,
It's
dude.
just a black hat that
I
says
wanna-
naive on it.
Let's all get matching outfits. I'll
Yeah,
get
I think-
Kill.
Yeah, you should. Brendan should get
Brendan
kill.
has
I
to
should
get
get
Kill.
naive, and Dylan should get the other one. What is it? Like a
The white hat that the white blood cell
no.
wears?
There's another black hat that says something on it, but I'm blanking on what it is. Whatever. Oh well.
Damn,
Yeah,
dude.
it's something like research or like I don't
Oh.
know. It's like the dumbest one.
Dylan should show
You're
up.
like-
Hey.
Don't just show up in a tank top and army pants and nothing else and just be the natural killer.
a knife.
Natural killer T.
Woo.
He's the only one who could pull it off. God
Thank
knows.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely reminded me of like that kind of Bill Nye thing as well. Like this could actually be shown in classes.
Yeah,
Not just
right.
like it like, oh, this would be fun to show. Like it does have like enough value, I think.
yeah.
Like, I'm no biologist, but like, if you told me that this was 100% factual and accurate, aside from like the fact that it's an anime, like all the facts that they're spouting off, they're like, this is how this
Yeah.
works. I'd believe it.
Yeah. Well, like, I don't know. I found like watching Bill Nye stuff, it was like good that they had fun examples.
Right.
Like it actually helped learn, you could like link it to something. So I feel like if I was studying biology, just remembering that the B cell or whatever has like a gun, I'm like, oh, right, because it develops like antibodies, specific antibodies.
Right.
That makes sense. It's the only
Oh.
one with like a weapon that like it has to learn things. Like I would
Nice.
remember that
Yeah.
over just like, what's a B cell?
'Cause it's like,
like, you know?
Right.
You know how like when you're studying, you like make little tricks for yourself to like remember shit? This whole show is just one big trick for you to remember how stuff works. Because yeah, I wouldn't forget that the B cell is just kind of like an asshole with a water gun, gets in everyone's way. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, he makes antibodies. He can't fight.
So Brendan, you said that you wanted more from the show, and I think I know why, because I was feeling the same thing, but I want to just hear your perspective on that.
Right.
Like, what were you wanting from the show? What did it deliver?
At first, it might have just been the hype, just because so many people are like losing their shit over this show. There's like so much fan art and fan feedback about this whole thing, and I'm like, okay, there's got to be something going on here, and there definitely is something. It's like a lot of fun to watch. But I was like, maybe they like concocted some like crazy plot out of this. Like maybe there's actually something going on here. Like I was thinking, like while I was watching the show, I was like, okay, so this is like kind of like fun sort of slice of life, sort of like they don't really wrap up any loose ends necessarily. There's no like big overarching plot besides maybe the cancer. I think the cancer episode was the only one that actually carried over
like
from
a two-parter.
Yeah. Because even when they're fighting off the flu, and then there's like the crazy one that appears at the end, like the A strain, they're like, oh fuck, that one's really strong, and then the episode ends and they never go back to it. Right. So it's like,
oh, do they not wrap that up?
No. So it's like, okay, so I guess they're just gonna leave that there. But like while I was watching the show, I was kind of like, I wonder how crazy it would be if like they didn't like stress the fact that this was the human body and these people were cells, and this was just like some weird dystopian future where everyone's working in this society where they all have one job and they're all like raised in like these crazy facilities and shit, and there's these guys who like actively have to kill these monsters attacking a city, and then like the big reveal at the end of the series is that it's like the human body or something. I was like, oh, that would be fucking crazy. But I mean, like,
that'd be kind of fun. Yeah.
This route is also like kind of it's a lot easier watching.
You know, to be a fun twist if like Attack on Titan was a metaphor for the human body.
Spoilers, dude.
Wait, that has nothing to do with the
you
show.
blew this case wide open.
Yeah, they already revealed that in the manga.
Yeah. Oh god, that's really funny.
Yeah, I gotta say, like, I noticed that the show is popular amongst people. Right. And I see why this show is good, but I don't see why it's like an anime phenomenon.
Right.
Maybe it's just because there's a new season of anime every fucking 3 months, and there needs to be something that's the best of the season.
Right.
So like something's got to be it. Right.
This is
creative.
It's
not
so fresh,
standard.
though. Yeah.
So I will give it.
Yeah.
That. It's like
I
enjoy it for that, especially.
Mm-hmm. It also interestingly for the most part, and I think you could even make an argument for the cancer cell to some degree, but it's quite episodic.
Yeah.
Like you could just watch one episode from like in the middle of the season, at least thus far,
and you know that's the case.
Makes sense
because they explain what everybody does in each episode.
Exactly.
Like, white cell does this, red cell does this.
Right. Yeah. So
even though it like goes by in a frame and you can barely read it unless you pause.
So I think
that's kind of annoying.
It's too much, too much information.
Yeah.
So it's no mistake that it was crafted this way. I think they meant for it to be that way, like a kind of light watch that you don't need to necessarily remember everything, and
right,
you get some nice information.
Yeah, it's like, hey, remember when this happened to you? This was what was going on inside you.
Yeah,
but we'll see if that's the case. Like when we're done the whole season, maybe the cancer just like keeps happening.
It gets
from now on.
Yeah,
damn, that's like the returning antagonist.
Yeah.
So it's just cancer.
Maybe.
Fuck.
When I watched the first 2 episodes, I like loved the show. I was like, this is so cool. This is so much fun.
Yeah.
I got to say, I loved the platelets. I don't know if that's how you pronounce that.
Children,
the children who like heal wounds, or like they
run around
patch up and clot the blood. They were adorable, and they're like featured in the first 2 episodes.
They pulled out all the stops to make them the cutest things you've ever seen in an anime.
Yeah, dude, it all worked. I'm such a sucker.
They're all struggling together.
Yeah.
They like can't reach stuff. And they're like, oh, we need a ladder. It's like,
or when they have to take like the box down the stairs.
Oh yeah,
one step at a time or whatever.
It was
like, yay, we did it.
Yeah,
and just even the characters in the show acknowledge how cute they are.
Oh my god, I feel like such a sucker, but I fell for all of it. Like I knew what they were doing, but I was still like, ah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was really, really into the show, but I guess I was feeling like I wanted more because I didn't realize that it was going to be so episodic.
Right.
Kind of like Monster of the Weekish, like a new thing happens and then it's solved at the end.
It's like literally Monster.
Yeah, so I was a little bit unsatisfied after like the first 2 episodes. Like it episode 3 was influenza, 4 food poisoning, 5
Right.
cedar pollen. Anyway, and it was like they were all like cool in their own way,
Yeah.
but it was also a hard thing to, I guess, watch in such quick succession because I watched it over.
Back to back to back.
Yeah, I watched it over like 4 days, I would say. And so even though they're short episodes, it kind of felt like a bit much because everything is so like, oh, it explains again what a red blood cell does,
Right.
etc.
Yeah.
But then we got like this huge curveball where at the end of episode 6, we find out that there's a cancer cell, and then that plot continues into 7, and I didn't see it coming. And it was like refreshing once again. I was like, oh shit, like something's going down. So I'm really curious to see what the second half of this season holds. Like, will it go into a more serial arc, or will it continue to be episodic?
It's hard to say. I feel like just the way it's going, they're probably just gonna keep rolling with here's the new issue every week. I also found it really funny because I was like, wow, the person that these people live in must be getting sick a lot. Like, they're probably a fucking slob. Like, what the fuck is going on? Or that's just shit that happens in our body on the daily that we don't notice because we don't get sick every single time.
I feel like the point is that.
Yeah.
Like, that's the point that the show is getting at.
Right.
Because, the show did make me appreciate, like, all the shit that my body's doing for me without me noticing.
Yeah.
Like, it's just on autopilot this whole time. Although, episode 5 was the one that I related to the most because it was the cedar pollen one.
Oh, yeah.
And I have allergies, and I'm just like, all you fucking stupid cells doing your stupid-ass job, like, making me sick.
Yeah.
You're giving me these allergies by doing your stupid-ass job.
Why can't I stop crying?
Yeah. God, it's so annoying. I think, it's in that episode that they, like, there's like a Terminator essentially there, and it just kills everything, right?
Right, that's the medication.
It's the steroid, yeah.
Yeah, actually, that was something I was waiting for. I was like, I really hope they bring medicine into this whole world, and they did,
Is it just going to be God? Like, is, like, an otherworldly being just going to show up and, like, fix everything?
Yeah. That actually happened to me a couple months ago, like, during the winter. I had a cold that, like, turned into, like, I don't know, some sort of, like, lung infection or some shit. I was, like, sick as hell.
Yeah.
And the doctor's like, oh, maybe if this doesn't, like, stop happening within 2 weeks, we'll give you a steroid. And I'm like, whoa, can we just do that now? That sounds dope. And he's like, no, steroids are, like, a last resort. They're like, how do I put this? Like a nuclear bomb for the body.
Right.
And I thought that was fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But if only he said it was like the Terminator for the body, it would have been exactly like the show.
Right. We're going to put a small robot to clear everything that lives in your body.
It's also funny that they depicted it as a robot and not just like another like humanoid.
Yeah, I like that it had like markings on it, like the Pharma Corp or whatever the fuck it belongs to. It's like, that's very funny. Also, speaking of nukes, I like that sneezes are nukes.
Yeah.
I also like that just everything is a thing. Like, everyone has their own identity. Like, the red blood cells all have their own uniform, their own outfit. And I was like, what other cells are we going to be introduced to? Also, like, what are sperm cells? Are they astronauts? Are they triathletes?
Yeah. Maybe it's like, you know, the nukes are like the escape pods that come out during sneezes.
Yeah.
It's like there's just sperm cells like with their astronaut helmet by their side, like waiting to take off.
They train,
or they have like a rocket pack to like lift.
Or actually, that's better
because that's like shoot up, like shit, we're coming right now.
Yeah, but there's like millions of them.
So like, if the person they live in is a serial masturbator, does that mean they just have a very advanced space program?
Dude, cells at work, dude.
They're just shooting people out into space constantly, or they're just like a truly like tribal society where they sacrifice people on the regs. Or like, bye, dude.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Oh, like they need to be purged from the body.
Yeah. Like you're being extradited.
Is that what our bodies are doing?
Satisfy our god.
What do they say in The Survivor when you're cast off the island?
You are. No, I was going to say you're the weakest link.
Goodbye.
No, the tribe has spoken.
Oh yeah, the tribe has spoken. And then they get ejected out of somebody's penis.
Right.
Right. Or what if we're in a female's body and there's just the egg and everyone's like praying towards the egg?
That's the thing. And then they like invite these like otherworldly beings to come and like join with their literally.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they just take care of this thing forever until it becomes this giant fucking thing that looks like their god.
Dude.
And then they're like, okay, we're going to send you into space now.
None of us
Flop.
would be here without cum.
Jesus, that's a Kanye West reference.
If you're new here, this is a regular occurrence.
Yeah. But speaking of them worshipping a baby that would be growing inside the uterus,
Yeah.
for some reason the stomach in the show. Dylan, what did you think I was about to get to?
No.
For some reason, the stomach in the show is like a vat of acid, and it's like an aquarium that
Right.
everybody like visits.
They
And
can
looks at.
see it. They're like, hey, look at that. It's digesting.
Red blood cell and white blood cell are on a date inside of it. Not really a
Right.
date. We don't know if they're like
They're just
together.
See,
doing their
I was like
job.
wondering, are they like, I don't
what
know,
is
are they
that?
into each other?
Also,
But
what type
she-
of blood is this body? Is it O positive, O negative,
Right.
AB negative? Is that
Yeah.
a type? I don't know.
See, that's the thing.
D? Is that a type?
No, dude.
I know.
The cells probably don't have a sex drive because they're made in like facilities by these like
Right.
nurse type cells.
Right.
So like all of y'all shipping
Yeah, of course
red
they don't
blood
have
cell.
sex drive. This
But
is
they
a kid's
also,
show.
but they
No,
also
it's not.
find other
I mean,
cells to be cute.
Right.
What does that say about
Hmm.
anything in the show?
They have like
Right.
nurturing instincts, which
Yeah.
means
Exactly.
never mind. The ship isn't dead, guys. The ship isn't dead.
No, it's not dead. Not
Yeah.
at all.
Also, I liked how a lot of these were like uniquely Japanese problems, like the sushi parasite. It's like something that they might be able to relate to more because of how much fish they eat over there. It's like,
Right, yeah.
Right.
That's a good point.
and also the cedar pollen allergies just from cedar pollen. I didn't know how much of like an epidemic cedar trees were in Japan.
Right,
until
they
I
could have
actually-
just made it more general. They could have just made it pollen.
Yeah, no, like I had
Right,
no
right.
idea until I like actually went there, like it during like peak pollen season,
Hmm.
and like was just wondering why there were so many people in masks. Like someone,
Yeah.
like a friend of mine who lives there, had to explain. I was like, dude, so what's with the masks? Is it like a fashion thing? He's like, no, it's just allergies. Like literally, everyone's gonna start crying if
Right.
they don't mask up at all times.
Yeah.
So like everyone in Japan watching the show is probably like, oh, this is so fucking relatable.
Hmm. I just took it as regular allergies.
I mean, may as well
'Cause,
be.
like, yeah.
Same
Yeah.
shit.
More relatable to me. So episode 6, we got that flashback with like the two main characters meeting when they were younger.
Mm-hmm.
Red blood cell and white blood cell.
Yeah.
And then you find out it's like, what is this, like destiny? Like, is he always going to save her? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
don't
there's
know.
a tiny, tiny love story going on in your body, my dude.
It's weird. He's so like confident about like killing blood cells, and then when people are like, "Thank you," he's like, yeah, no problem."
Just doing my job.
Yeah.
Yeah. You also mentioned, or you guys mentioned before, like, is this something like our body is always doing? And like, that's like really interesting to think about because none of these, I think all of these instances are not when your body is, well, some of them were, but like, you're not getting like super sick. It's like even just like the beginnings of these things, your body is like starting
Yeah.
to, because like, I
It's not
think
like a war.
like you might have cancer cells develop, but then your body kills them before they like,
Right.
it doesn't necessarily
that's how it
mean
works,
yeah,
yeah.
like I mean like you don't have to just like develop like full-blown cancer
Right, yeah,
where your,
no, I'm
like
sure like
body, like people can just have
to
cancer
some
cells in their
degree,
bodies
yeah.
that like they might develop at some point.
It's like only when they like proliferate to a point where
Yeah,
they
yeah, I
can't
guess
be
you're-
controlled that it causes a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I don't even know if that's how it works. I
Side
know
note,
nothing.
It's crazy that you can cut out cancer like out of your body because there's just like there's cells which are like tiny, because even if you cut
Right.
out like a huge chunk of it, I guess that's why it can come back.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, what
What?
might come back is the cancer cell. At the end of, I didn't plan that transition,
Yeah.
but at the end of episode 7, he's like, "I'll let you win for now."
Hmm.
Yeah, which is why it would make sense for him to be like the returning antagonist or like
Yeah,
the overarching like
yeah.
evil thing.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like
totally.
how many other evil things are there in your body? I want to see what happens when this dude actually gets like sick. Like, and then there's just like he has a fever, and or, well, I guess this did kind of happen
Yeah.
during the influenza episode, but like, is there ever like an all-out war where like all the white blood cells and killer T's and everybody is just like fighting a giant battle?
Hmm.
I don't know.
This show's interesting because it never shows us whose body we're in or like how they're reacting to anything.
Right.
It's the only kind of thing that you get from the outside world is the achoo from
It's
the
true.
sneeze.
Oh,
You
yeah,
just
right.
hear that like really loud,
Yeah.
booming.
Like one thing that
Sneeze.
Osmosis Jones had was that, and also like the Magic School Bus showed us that
Right.
what happens in the person's body. That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be really funny if the person that this entire world lived inside of
Mhm.
was just a piece of shit. Like they're just a serial killer, or like something
Yeah.
awful like that.
Yeah. Speaking of which, did you guys know that like this show has many spin-offs? Like, or the manga has many spin-offs? Like, okay, I'll tell you. So obviously this manga is called Cells at Work.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So one of the spin-offs is a bacteria at work, which is just like about the intestines and the stomach and shit. Another one of the spin-offs is cells that don't work, about lazy red blood cells.
I like that.
Oh man.
Yeah. And the last one is Cells at Work Black, which is
Dude.
about an unhealthy body.
Oh no.
Okay.
Yeah. So maybe that's what you're talking about, Brendan, is like the guy who's shit. I don't know, like
the
a shitty
darkest
person.
timeline.
It's the darkest timeline. Yeah, yeah.
It's actually just
That's
inside
so
the body of
interesting.
like a.
Yeah.
And it's just all different series of mangas?
Yeah,
Like,
and I think they're all going on at the same time.
Do you know if they like interact with each other at all?
I have no idea.
Shared universe?
No, I
Shared
mean
body?
shared. It can't be the shared body. I think.
Oh.
Well, I mean, not the last one, not Black,
Oh, right.
because
Yeah.
it's an unhealthy person.
Right.
I guess the other ones could be. Yeah, that'd be
That's
interesting.
interesting.
Yeah,
Man, I want to see death. I want to know what happens when the world ends, dude.
yeah, yeah.
6 more episodes. We'll see.
Also, like all the cells in your body are constantly dying, so like,
Yeah,
they haven't
yo.
shown that yet.
Well, they've shown plenty of cell death.
Right.
Imagine if at the end of, like, we don't read the manga ever on this podcast,
No.
new listeners, in case you didn't know that. So if you're just like, oh, these guys are saying shit that we already know the answers to, that's why. We only watch the anime. But
also, if you
imagine-
have some answers, maybe tell us.
I mean, like, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless it's an ongoing show. Like, don't spoil Attack on Titan for us.
Right. But like,
Anyway,
sorry.
more like clarification is what we want.
Yeah, correct us if we're like super flubbing it. But yeah, wouldn't it be funny if by the end of this series, the person they were living in died in a fucking car accident, but they were like a donor and white blood cell. Oh shit, ow, I hit the table. I'm sorry. White blood cell and red blood cell are just hanging out in like the liver one day, and they just happen to be harvested and they get thrown into another person's body.
Right.
Imagine fucking that.
Here we go again.
Yeah, that would be interesting
That
if
would-
they got like transported in a blood transplant to like somebody else's body.
Yeah, or that would actually make it for an interesting episode. I can't picture this show going on for too long, though. Like, it's very
Right.
fresh, but like, I wouldn't want to see multiple seasons of this. Like, I think
Sure.
one season is good.
I think,
No, I definitely agree. I'm already getting like kind of tired of everything by episode 7.
Same.
Although the manga's been going on since 2015.
Interesting.
So like,
Wow.
I don't know.
Yeah, to be
Nice.
honest, I was thinking like until episode 7 or the end of 6, I was thinking like, do the Shonen Chumps, do we need to finish this show?
Right, yeah. That's
Like
something I was thinking
we
about
might,
too.
or rather, we might finish it, but like, do we need to podcast about it? Like, what information will we be able to present or add our opinion on if it's just more of the same?
right?
Yeah. And I'm not so sure, but maybe we'll find something.
Yeah,
Who knows? Something else I want to say about episode 7 was that the show takes a weird moment to sympathize with cancer cells. And like, I don't know what to think about that. I don't know what they're getting at, because they liken like cancer cells to like being born with like a defect.
Yeah.
He's
Right.
like, just because I was born this way, you want to kill me.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, I know
Yeah.
I have like
very
my
funny.
purpose is to destroy this place,
Yeah.
but I didn't ask to be born.
Yeah.
It's like, holy fuck,
But
dude.
he doesn't just say it. There's literally a flashback to when the cancer cell is a child and is being hunted down.
Right.
And he sees his friend cancer cell die, dude.
in front of him. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like real trauma.
So it's like, what are you trying to say here?
right.
I guess maybe more we can look at it like it's just like the nature
Yeah.
of like the cells. One thing I thought is like, maybe they're saying we should take care of our body today so that our body doesn't produce like cell defects
Right.
or like
right.
engraver. Because like, you could like smoke every day and then you'll probably get cancer in
right.
like 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if we exercise, maybe we won't have cancer cells, and therefore killer T cell and white blood cell won't need to stab
Right.
An innocent
innocent
cancer cell.
cells. I don't know.
Or
What
maybe-
does it mean?
Maybe it's saying that like cancer is just like a force of nature that we just got to embrace and like Just live and let live.
Yeah,
Right.
maybe.
Just
I
die,
was-
bro.
Live and let die, dude.
Yeah, yourself.
Yeah.
I was just like, man, what does this show want to be? I enjoy it. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But when the like moments like that, when they're like trying to make you sympathize over some like character drama, it's like, whoa, dial it back a bit. Let's just fucking
yeah.
stab him in the neck, get the X's for eyes, and move on. Because that's
Yeah,
what the
like-
show is.
It's weird that the show still ended with X's over the eyes of
Yeah.
the Kent though,
Right.
after he has this moment
Yeah.
where he's talking about how he didn't ask to be born.
Right.
And it's so serious. And then they go back to being
Just
like,
"Bleh."
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
It's almost like the guy who was working on the show took a vacation for a week, and like this new serious dude came in.
I'm gonna
And
show off my narrative.
And then he
chops.
was just, and then the original guy from Vacation, he's like, oh, like, hey, what'd you do? He's like, I worked on the Cancer Cell episode. Like, you're gonna love what I did. And the guy was like, oh no, I need to make this funny at the end. I'm gonna put X over his eyes.
right.
Yeah.
Oh man, I was also kind of hoping that like nutrients from food would be like characters to some degree, because you know how you like hear about all that shit where it's like oh, eat healthy, like these foods like fight cancer, blah blah blah.
Right.
It's like maybe like the nutrients from like a kale salad would be like its own character from the outside, like an alien,
Yeah.
like the Terminator steroids, you know, or something like that. But
Like-
I'm okay with them
like
being
the
sandwiches,
kale
too.
salad would all be like Ida from My Hero Academia.
right, wearing glasses.
But
and,
all
like,
the unhealthy food would be like Minata, the guy with balls on his head.
Oh my
Who's just
God.
annoying as shit. And
they
you want
just
to get
want
the
to
fuck out
fuck
of here.
everything,
And they
yeah.
stick to everything with their sticky ball heads.
Right, they just ruin things.
Yeah. So, do you guys want to know some interesting stuff that may or may not be actually interesting?
Hit me with
Tell
it.
me, dude.
Like the voice actress for the Red Blood Cell also voices Henri in Durarara.
Whoa.
In
I can't
Japanese.
remember. Yeah,
Wait,
if you
is
guys,
there a dub?
there is no dub of Cells at Work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just wanna
I
make sure.
I saw like Durarara in Japanese
Yeah.
before it was in English.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that's
The
interesting.
red blood cell, she's so much more alive.
I know.
That's good. That's a
Good
testament
acting,
to
yeah.
her acting ability. That's fantastic.
The guy who voices the Killer T Cell, one of the big buff
Killer
guys in
T!
black,
Yeah.
voices Commander Irwin in Attack on Titan, which
Of
makes
course.
a lot of sense,
Yeah.
doesn't it? And also Shizuo Heiwajima in Durarara.
Killer
Which-
T.
Yeah, which is the guy with
That
in the
makes more
bartender
sense
costume, yeah.
than yeah.
and also Fafnir in my Miss Kobayashi.
Not
His dragon
spicy.
name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever
She
that
is-
is. Yeah.
The people who voice person who voices the cute kids, the platelets or whatever,
Yeah.
voice Kana in Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid.
Makes sense.
That
Of
makes
course.
sense, right?
Of
Yeah.
course.
And what's the last one I have here? The naive T cell is Zoramo. Is that right? The annoying kid
Oh,
from
yeah.
Darling in the
Zorame.
Franxx. Oh,
Zorame.
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 Oh, right. Yeah. Fucking autocorrect. I like changed it in my phone. Yeah. Which is like
That makes sense.
interesting. Yeah. They
But,
like
like, you
look
don't
the
see
same
him-
kind of. I don't know. in
A
my
little
head.
bit. You don't see Zorame cry as much, really.
Right.
I hate Zorame, dude.
I just gotta say, it's so funny that he just turns into a JoJo character.
Yes. Yeah. And you know why, right? Because
Why?
the studio that makes the show
Oh.
makes JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Oh,
This
cool.
is like the show that
makes
they're making
sense.
in between seasons of
Huh.
JoJo.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
On that note, I like that. That was another thing I liked about the show, that even though it was like formulaic, like Monster of the Week, it wasn't just like, oh, now we got to figure out a way to beat them. It was like each episode kind of highlighted a new cell, and you like learned a bit about them. That one, Naive T Cell, actually like evolves. So it wasn't just like we figured out a way. It actually tells you about how like cells change.
Yeah.
I had no idea that was a thing. I'm like, are they shoehorning something into like the way this world works just because it's an anime and they need someone to evolve and power up? It's like, no, dude,
Yeah.
that happens.
I actually liked it. I remember in episode 5, like everyone's doing their jobs right, but it literally doesn't work, and that's when they have to take the medicine. Like that's when the
Right.
human outside takes the medicine.
Right.
So that was like kind of like a cool twist up kind of thing. It wasn't just like a
Right.
simple thing. It shows like
Yeah.
sometimes your body is
I-
confused.
I
or
also want to see what's going on in the brain, because like we have that like T cell that's like a director or whatever. I forgot
Yeah.
what his name is. He
Yeah.
wears like the white military outfit, and he kind of gives directions a bit. But the minute I think it's Fat Cell, but that's not the only name for her. She's the one who like during the allergy episode like cranks up that chemical that fucks up a lot of shit.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't know. This is what it says in the book. I'm like, who wrote the book?
Mhm.
I want to know where the orders are coming from. Like,
Yeah.
is there like
Right.
a big command center in the brain or some shit like that? That would be kind of cool.
Yeah, that could be interesting to see.
We didn't mention one of the best characters.
Who?
Basophil, the mysterious white cell.
Oh my god.
That white blood cell that literally just says like poetic shit,
He
like
speaks
from a
in poems.
distance.
He's the
Yeah.
guy who looks like he just stepped off of like Kanye West's runway.
Right.
Dude.
Yeah.
He just says like the most edgelordy stuff, like "This is the end of the world. Everything is darkness."
Yes, yeah. It's like the
Yeah.
torrential rains will come and then we will see the truth or some shit
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. I just want to read that. I'm on the Wikipedia page of Cells of Work, and for his character, the description is a mysterious and poetic character whose real occupation is unknown, appearing during parasitic infection to make cryptic commentaries on events unfolding.
That's
Perfect.
Yeah.
Nice.
I wonder if that's like based on reality. Like, oh, this one new cell pops up whenever you're like unhealthy, and then it
We
goes
don't know
away.
what it
Nobody
does.
knows what it does
He
necessarily.
lives
yeah.
in the appendix.
Yeah.
The part
Yeah.
that we don't, it's just useless.
Mhm.
I want to know what the fuck happens when someone's appendix explodes in this world.
So I was just going to ask, what episodes would you guys like to see? So that's a good one.
Yes.
I want to see what happens when someone gets drunk,
Whoa.
like alcohol poisoning or something.
Whoa.
That's very interesting.
Whoa.
Oh shit, I haven't thought about this.
Sake poisoning.
True, to make it more regional. Yeah.
I'd say I want to see like something with like an autoimmune disorder, but that's essentially what we saw already when the
Mhm.
cells are all doing their job and it doesn't work,
Right.
and they're like working against each other.
Surgery, like a recovery from surgery would be interesting. Oh, I guess that goes with the appendix,
Yeah.
Right.
potentially. Could be a
Appendix
two-parter.
episode. Make it happen.
Yeah, I think
Appendix.
the appendix and the brain would all be interesting things.
Right.
And I want to see a genital episode with a
course.
sperm shooting
Of
out.
course. I'd need to
Yeah.
know where they go.
Yeah.
Is it space or
Also, poop.
is it poop?
Poop?
Scoop?
Scoop?
Yeah, I want to see the poop. I want to see whatever disgusting cells those are.
Right.
And
They
how they
covered
get
it in
ejected
the
from the
Magic
body.
School Bus episode.
Did they?
They
I
did.
barely remember that.
Childhood trauma, dude.
Hmm.
Well, hey, listeners, tell us what episodes you want to see, maybe?
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course I want to know what you want to see.
How do you feel about this show? Do you like this show? Do you think it could be better? Is this the best thing you've ever watched? Tell us about it, because we love talking to you.
Are you talking about the anime or are you talking about this podcast?
I mean, either or.
Yeah, either or. Tell us about it. And you can tell us about it by emailing shonenchumps@gmail.com. You can tweet at the shonenchumps. You can also learn about us on Facebook or listen to us on YouTube or SoundCloud or Apple iTunes Podcast or the Google Play Store. We love
And,
you.
and podcast apps everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. We're everywhere.
And if
Because
you want
we're
to...
everywhere to you. When you close your eyes.
It's
All right.
us you see. Okay.
Oh, God. Anyways,
Who's
remember,
that song by?
I don't
Michelle
know.
Branch. Covered by Yellow Card, also.
Whoa.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, let's go out on that. Okay. All right, love you. Bye.
See ya, Space Cowboy.
Cells at work.